Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name's Chloe. I create content around calisthenics training and lifestyle, trying to help you get into your calisthenics journey. So in this video, I wanted to kind of deep dive into all of the kind of not secret information, but all of the knowledge that I have around training for your handstand that you maybe don't see on social media. You know, we're always trying to put as much information into these short form content as possible, and it's just impossible to like give the information that actually will help you go alongside those tutorials. So that's what this video is all about. It's also the main reason I created the Cali Club, because I felt like I was putting these workouts out on social media or tutorials, and it was just missing that kind of, I guess, coach's perspective. You know, the information that if you were working one-to-one with a coach, that would be the information that would actually help you with your calisthenics journey, rather than, you know, making the same mistake over and over again, but you don't know that you're making that mistake. So that's what this video is all about, trying to give you that knowledge, the insider tips and hacks that maybe you haven't heard of yet. So before we get into the mistakes and the tips and the tricks, let's just actually look at the handstand and how you're going to perform the perfect handstand and what sort of main coaching cues and coaching tips would be. So obviously we want to try and get a nice straight handstand shape in complete alignment. We want the shoulders to be elevated, so think about hiding your ears. You want to actually shrug your shoulders up towards your ears. You want straight arms around shoulder width apart. You want active hands so that you're actually using your grip on the floor to balance yourself. And you want to create a hollow body shape with a posterior pelvic tilt, squeezed glutes, and create tension through the legs as well. The more you squeeze, the easier it is going to be to hold that handstand position. A really good tip for practicing that hollow body shape is to literally do hollow body holds on the floor, but with your arms above your head. So mimicking that handstand shape and really understanding how are you creating that shape? What are you doing? What muscles are working where? That's what you need to learn inside out, so that when you are upside down, you can replicate that in the drills and in your handstand practice. Our first mistake is not utilizing the drills correctly. And now this can be really difficult, because as I said, when you're seeing something on social media, it's very much the sort of quick form. There's not a lot of information there. So when you're doing these drills, you might not be doing them correctly or getting the fullest benefit out of them. So for example, an elevated pike hold is a really good beginner drill. It's going to help you build strength in your wrists and your shoulders, help you get used to being upside down, and start teaching you the right alignment for that handstand. But you can make that drill as easy or as hard as you want it to be. And I say that as in, if you make it harder, you're going to get more out of it. Anybody can easily put their feet up on a box, put their hands on the floor, be in that sort of elevated pike shape and just hold it there. Yeah, okay, you might get a little burn in your shoulders, but realistically, you're not utilizing that drill to its fullest potential. What you really need to do is be using your hands, getting the weight into your hands, making sure your shoulders are in that fully elevated position, making sure your body is in that hollow body shape. You're really pushing up tall towards the ceiling. So you're really thinking about all of these little things that you need to do in an actual handstand whilst you're doing this drill. The handstand is such a mental skill. It's not only physical, but there's so much that you have to think about. So when you're doing these easier drills, this is the time to start learning how to move your body into certain shapes. So if I twist my hips this way, what happens? If I squeeze my butt, what happens? If I press my fingers in, what happens? Use these drills to try and hit all of the main coaching points for the handstand. Okay, so when I touched on the elevated pike position, then I was talking about the weight in your hands. This is the biggest mistake I see when people are performing most handstand drills. So if you're doing elevated pike on a box, if you're doing chest to wall handstands, if you're doing feet switches, having all of the weight on the wall or on the box is not going to help you learn how to hold your handstand. You need to shift your whole body forward, shift into your hands. Think about the weight needs to be really on the fingers. You can then start building the strength in your hands that you're going to need to be able to hold your body weight upside down. but also you're going to start being in the correct alignment. By having a lot of weight in the wall or on the box, you're not going to be in the correct alignment, and you're never going to actually feel what that handstand feels like. Something that most people don't understand is the handstand is like a lot further than they think it's going to be. So, you know, they might kick up or they might be against the wall and it might feel like they're about to topple over, or it might feel like they're going past that handstand point, but it's always that little bit further than you think it's going to be. So that's why using these drills, but filming yourself while doing it, you will be able to see if you have all of your weight in the wall or all of your weight in your hands. And don't be afraid to really shift the weight into your hands, because that's how, like I said, you're going to build the strength in your wrists and in your fingers to actually be able to hold you in that handstand. So the next most common mistake I see is people rushing their handstand practice. And this kind of has two meanings. First of all, rushing in terms of not utilizing drills and the wall enough and just kicking up and trying to get into that handstand without doing the background work first. And then also rushing the actual drills. So I see this a lot when people are trying to do their kick up to handstand. I like to refer to it as a lift up rather than a kick up, because kick kind of insinuates power, but there's no power or speed needed for the actual kick up into handstand. It's more of a float up, a lift up. We're creating tension, we're pushing through the hands, we're elevating the shoulders, we're engaging the core, we're making ourselves as tall as we can. So instead of rushing to get up to that handstand shape, slow it down a little bit and try and create tension through the body as you're kicking up. This is going to help you feel a lot more in control and stop you just from going straight over. And the other way people rush is to get to that handstand shape with their legs together. You can maintain an L shape with your legs, you can maintain a split leg position, and it will help you create some balance and help you get some time on your hands, rather than snapping your legs straight together and you're just off balance straight away. So utilize that open leg position. Talking of the kick up, a lot of people actually prefer a double leg entry into the handstand, and at first this may seem quite alien, but if you practice it, you'll find that it has got a little bit more control. I prefer a double leg entry into my handstand. I will either do a bunny hop, or my favorite is just jumping straddle up to the handstand. So play around with some different entries as well. Use the wall for this to start with, the same as any other drill, but then practice it freestanding and just getting more time on your hands as you go. And again, don't jump super explosive. Think about lifting. Think about getting the heaviest part of your body, which is going to be your hips and your butt. They need to get up over your hands and your shoulders. Okay, the next issue that I see all the time is actually people don't have enough flexibility or mobility in their shoulder joint to be able to hold themselves in the handstand position. This can then create a handstand with a slightly closed shoulder angle, which can be really hard to hold and really difficult to find balance there. So you want to be able to obviously put your arms above your head in a straight line, but also be able to hold some weight up there. So my favorite exercise for this is going to be do elevated shoulder shrugs. So get into your elevated pike position, shrug the shoulders down, and then really push through the floor, elevate up as tall as you can. That's going to help you with that shoulder position or the strength in that shoulder position. But you also need to work on your flexibility, because if you don't have the range of movement to actually get into that position, you're not really going to get anywhere. So doing a lot of flexibility stretches and a lot of mobility work on the shoulder joint is going to help with your handstand. And now the last thing I see all the time is actually fear. It's a mental fear, a mental block stopping you from being able to do the drills correctly. Most people are scared of doing handstands because, let's face it, we're not used to being upside down, we're not used to taking the weight on our hands. It's very uncomfortable to do this at the start. So my advice for you if you do have fear is, unfortunately, there's no quick fix or quick cure, but by taking time and spending time on your hands within your practice, slowly but surely that fear will start to fall away as you become more confident in your own ability to hold your body weight, your own ability to move your body where you want it to go. Remember, you're in charge. So you're not just gonna let your body fall. If you're starting to fall, you're gonna move one hand forward to bring the center of gravity shifted to one side and bring you down to the floor. So first of all, it's building confidence in yourself and your own ability. And then second, you can practice falling safely so that if you do ever find yourself in a position where you're starting to feel out of control and fall, you know exactly what to do to get yourself to the floor without slamming back onto your back. That, I think, is the fear that people have, is that they're going to go over and slam onto the floor. And this comes back to the point I was making earlier, where people think that they're already in the handstand position, and as they actually come into the handstand position, they think they're falling over, but in reality, they're not. I can't tell you the amount of time that I've been helping somebody do a handstand. I've helped them come up. They're sort of in this position, and I've said, let me put you into the handstand, and I'm trying to push them into the straight line, and they are resisting, or they start moving their hands forward, because to them, it feels like they're going over, but in reality, you're not. So the fear, I think, comes from not knowing what the actual handstand position looks and feels like. And as I said, this is only going to come with time and practice and filming yourself, looking at what you're doing, analyzing what you're doing, and not just doing these drills for the sake of it. I hope that was kind of helpful. I've tried to not make this too long. If you do want more in-depth information like this, then please come and join us over in the Cali Club. This month we are doing a really big focus on handstands, and so there's a lot of specific drills, hacks, secrets, tips, mobility work to help you really get better at your handstand practice. And next month, we're actually going to be launching an app, which is very exciting. So you can join before the app is ready, or you can wait until August 1st when the app will be ready. I'll pop all of the information down in the description below. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, do all the things, and I will see you next Wednesday.